So our first presentation this morning is going to be by Mr. Darrin Smith. It's on the statewide AddresNC program. Darrin Smith is the GIS project manager for AddresNC program administered by the Center of Geographic Information and Analysis, or CGIA, within the North Carolina Department of Information Technology. He has over 30 years of experience. That includes 13 years as an information technology project manager in the private and public sector, including 8 years as the manager for the NC Ortho Imagery program. Darrin, it's all yours. Thanks.
So last year at this conference, I introduced AddresNC. It had been in development for about a year before that. And at that conference, the goal was to introduce the project because it was coming soon, and to really talk about the approach and the workflows and the flow of information. It comes down from the counties through NextGen 911 and then to AddresNC. So that was the objective a year ago. At the CGIA conference this year, we had our announcement that AddresNC was released in December for the first time in 8 years, and it was a statewide sustainable solution, and it still is. So at that meeting, at that conference, we talked about the quality control outputs, what the user could expect to see. We talked about the attribution, the coded domains to get them understanding on that. And then today, I'm going to talk about how we deliver it. One method for we deliver it through Experience Builder. And the goal is to centralize everything about the program for really the target audience, which is really the addressing data owners. And I'll get to that later. So 1 year later, we've done a lot in the last year. So up until this point, and in the past, I've talked about the standards that we apply, the workflows, the approaches. This is a full circle approach. It begins with the counties and the local governments submitting their data through NextGen. We pull that down from NextGen and do lots of other things with it. Just real quickly, our focus is on consistency, standardization. We know that the end user is doing select by attributes, and they just want to put in one value for what they're looking for, not this or that or the other. We look at conflicts, spatial overlays to see, you told us Durham, we say Raleigh. Completeness, and then the quality control. So all that information goes into the QC side of it, and we output about 7 different layers that you can look at as an end user. And then I will say it's a total coded method. We have domain codes, everything is coded, and that really allows us to be flexible and change things if we must. But today I want to talk about the delivery side of it, the reporting and the communication. So how do we get the information out to the end user, being the county and the local government, so that they can look at what we found and fix things if they're wrong, or make things better. So the next time it goes through NextGen, it's a better solution. And then it's just, once again, a full circle. It goes on and on and on. So really the buzzword here, keyword that I want to focus on is the incentive. So how do we make it easy for you to look at the information and discover what we found and make it better? I have about 300 contacts that I deal with across the state, county coordinators, those types of people. And the way that we deliver is all spatial. We don't deliver reports for this program. It's output, let you bring it into your local desktop or pro, or look at it online to see what we found. All this flows through NC1 Map. So I'm sure everyone's heard of NC1 Map before. So that's the way, that's our total focus for getting the information out. So real quick for today, I want to put up Experience Builder. That's our solution, our interface for getting this out. And we really have 3 parts of Experience Builder I want to talk about. Where you drop when you arrive there, how to look at statuses and statistics, things like that, and then look at the reporting side, which is really where the QC comes in. So I'll show you those 3 sections. And then finally, the audience, really especially the reporting side of it, it's geared towards those county coordinators, those people that work with addresses and maintain them, and then the people responsible for getting this out to Geocom and next gen. All right, so I'm going to go with screenshots rather than a a live demo. So had to make a couple of adjustments here so it's intuitive and you can read it. But you can get to the online application through many ways, but we are going to recommend go to nc1map.gov. Go all the way to the bottom. You'll see a card for AddresNC. Click that, and that'll get you started. That'll take you to our project page. And that's how you can eventually get here. So this is under construction now. We haven't released it. Give us a couple months. We're making the fine tuning it and doing all we can to make it really intuitive, honestly. So at the landing page, our goal is to show you status. So at any given time, we publish monthly, pull our stuff down from NextGen. At any given time, a county might not be present in NextGen because of critical errors that were returned to the county. And at the time we got the data, one county might be missing, and that's the case right now. So this is our way to show what is current as of the time of release. But at most, it will be probably a month lag if the county isn't there. But there are a couple counties that are still absent in NextGen. So statistics, you can see right here at the top, Mecklenburg's at the top for counts of addresses. So you can see how your county stacks up against all the others. We have statistics, counts, frequencies, all of these things, because the way Experience Builder is designed are interactive. You can select a county and it will go to that county and show you that focus. On the top right is links to our project page. So if you want to read more about coded domains and the schema and the attributes, you can click on any one of those links there, and that'll take you to what you're looking for. Under that will be a county report summary, and this is where we really recommend that the person responsible for the data goes. So this link is going to give you a summary of all the inconsistencies that we found for that county, and they're all coded domains, and they're intuitive descriptions. They're not code numbers, so they're very easy to understand, and you can see what you have to work with and what you need to focus on. And then the bottom left, that's just simply a link back to the project webpage in case you wanted to get back and read about something or learn more. So this is the landing page. This is our goal anyway. This is our thoughts about where you'll begin. All right, so then the next part of the Experience Builder interface is the status side of it. And I'll talk about this later about the advantages of Experience Builder over WebApp Builder, but the thing I really liked are these tab pages. And so if you go to the bottom here, the goal is that any one of these will get you to more information. And on this page, it's not so much spatial and mapping, but it's more about charts and change tables and things like that. So any one of those, I'll focus on a couple of these, not all of them. But this is similar to the parcels on NC1Map where you can go and look at the date of last submittal. And so that's important. It's good to know what you're working with at any given time. So at the bottom are things like details on last updates. We have our inconsistencies link will show you all of the data that we found for that county. Clusters of important information. Subaddresses are a big deal for AddresNC, and I'll show that next. So those are a couple of the tabbed links at the bottom. So the first one I want to look at is the monthly change. So there's a lot going on this tab here. And our goal is to really internally to keep track of the change. What's the net increase or decrease that we see every month? And so the goal here is you can click on any county, and these will all be coded. They're code numbers right now, but that will change. So in this case right here, Alamance, had 90,000 points. They gained 305 and they lost 159 or 69 or something like that. So that's a good way to tell what the change is month to month. And so every time you engage a county here, all this data will be updated, the graphs and the bar charts and all of that. So it's very interesting. It's a great application that we really like in Experience Builder compared to the web app builder. And so that's the change. And once again, this will all be coded domains, so don't worry about these numbers. One of the other things that we're looking at for the on one of the tabs is the focus on the subunits. The subunits are they're more than I ever imagined. They're 12% of the 6 million points in the state have subunits, and our data goes down to its unit building floor. So it's very detailed, and actually some of them have rooms, but I don't publish the room data. So here's an example of, this is a work in progress right now. There's an order of magnitude 12%. There's 800,000 subunits in the state. And so our goal here is that they serve a lot of use cases, whether it's looking at multifamily, or trying to understand, the number of structures on a parcel, any of those kinds of things. And so the focus here is to really not so much show maybe where they're at, but where they aren't. We think there's several counties that are field mapping wrong. And so we think that there's probably 1 million plus subunits in the state. And then with subaddresses are parents. Parents are a topic for geocoding, but you must have a parent for the geocode to function properly. And we've taken care of that as well. So we don't know what we're going to do with this heat map.density, a ramp, a mean center output, something like that. We'll figure out the best way to publish that information. And then another area of focus, which is let's see, what tab is this? This is the counts per county. So here's a way that you can visualize or actually just, look at the numbers here and see where your county is in relation to all the others. And we have lots of ideas for what we could publish here. One of the things that we found that works very well is looking at the ratio of addresses to state population or county population as an indicator of completeness, maybe, but you could go a long way with looking at statistics and percentages of the addresses to other things. So more to come on this, but at a minimum, it's the counts of the addresses per county. And I'm looking at some statistics down here. Okay. And then finally, the focus, the third focus I want to look at is the geocoding functionality that's bundled with AddresNC. So every month we update our locator. The geocoding is always live to that current month, and the geocoding is available in many different ways. You can get through it to Pro. You can get to it online right here. You can do tabular geocoding, reverse geocoding, all that comes with that. There's 7 different ways to geocode things. But at a minimum, it's available through the web map, and it's very fast, and we have type ahead, and we also have unit recognition. So, and Esri does something similar where you can put in any kind of keyword, whether it's a £sign or a unit or an apartment description, and it's going to find that subaddress for you. So here, this is the view well, the map isn't, but the search is. This is the view in downtown Charlotte. There's over 600 units in that tower. And so just by typing in the number 1 here, it pulls up all the information that it can find for 215 North Pine Street. So it's very fast. And I'm pretty happy with the geocoding. And we'll talk about that a little more about where that's going. And then, of course, you can barcode this with your phone if you would like. It works on your phone. I probably wouldn't recommend it, but I don't think it works on the lower level Androids. It doesn't like it. But if you want to check it out, there's lots of things to say about geocoding. This isn't the focus of this presentation, but it's open, and you have lots of supported properties that it does. But the one thing that I like the most about it is there's no credits consumed for geocoding. So check it out. And later on, I'll get to more about geocoding. And then finally, the third section of the application is the reporting side of it. And at the top, you can see we have about, well, there's about 19 inconsistency layers that we can take you to. And this is really where we want the coordinators and the people that are doing addresses to really go here to see what we found. These are web maps that come through Experience Builder, but at the same time, they're the same web map that you can get in the NC1 map services that you can drag right into desktop or pro. So it doesn't have to be online. It can be right in your own desktop. And really, we think that's what they're going to use it for when they're editing their own addresses. And so the purpose of the inconsistencies is to make it easy for the end user to see what we found. So we do lots of QC. There's 4,000 lines of Python behind this. So we go and look at all the different parts of the data and pick that out and report on it so that you can go right to that one part that you're interested in, rather than look at the whole and look through 85 fields and horizontally scroll and trying to figure out what you're looking for. No one wants to do that. It's difficult and you're going to lose interest really quick. So the goal, once again, is incentive. What makes it easy for the end user? So here's an example. I wanted to pull this one in particular for sub addresses. So we have some pretty sophisticated arcade going on. Well, actually, it's not. It could be a lot more, but this is a lot of work's gone into the text side of it. And so what we've done here is when you click on a point, we want you to easily see in one sentence what's wrong with this point, or what, not so much what's wrong, nothing's wrong or right, but what we found. And so rather than look through all those fields and try to pick out what you need to know, it says it right there. You gave us an attribute called the second floor for a value, and we said we change that to number 2. And so we take that number 2 and we build it into a string that makes a complete address. So we say unit 2. So each one of these you can click through and it's going to take you to those different parts. So we have municipal conflicts. That's where we did the overlays. And then we also have our input, what we call our input output. So this is where we found data and we didn't change anything, but we might have standardized it. We might have taken out some typos, whatever. And we said, here's what you gave us and here's what we changed it to. And so once again, if you look at that attribute table on the bottom here, you know, it's giving you just the basic fields that you need to look at without having to muddle through 90 different fields. So it's very easy to see. This is a standard. It's floor 3, and you gave us the 3rd floor. So we changed that. So that's the reporting side of it. And once again, these are all web apps or maps that you can bring right down into local desktop as well. Let's see, what else do I want to say here? Oh, and then also this is a good one on the end here, duplicates. So, and that gets back to those parent addresses. There are, I don't know, about 300,000 duplicate points in the state. And so we think that's important because the data could be better. So and that's most likely that's a place where it's a parent address and they haven't subdivided the units out yet. But people want to know that. And so if I'm calling 911, I want to say I want to live in 100 Main Street, apartment 1, not 100 Main Street. So check out the duplicates if they're in your county. And then other things like the nulls, we found all this null data. If you gave us nothing, then we populated it with spatial overlays for zip codes or municipal boundaries, things like that. So we didn't change anything, but if it was blank, we took the assumption that we can go ahead and fill that attribute in. So I went back to our developer and who did all of this design, and I asked her, you know, I said, give me the top 3 things that make Experience Builder better than Web App Builder. And what you found and what you really like. And so I'm not deep into the Experience Builder, but so I asked her, and the thing that she told me was that there's customization and the templates are abundant and there's a lot more to choose from than there ever was before. But the thing that she really liked was that the triggers and the events that allow widgets to do other things. So when you click on that county, it's going to trigger the web map to zoom to that level and to do reporting on it. So that's really a good thing. And then finally, like if you look at the web maps, you can scroll down through the map, but then you can also go down through the table as well. So you can scroll down through your screen. So like I said, I started this about 2 years ago. Last year, we really started getting into it. We released it in December. You know, we talked about that last year, but I really think AddresNC is the whole package. I think it delivers everything that people need. It's integrated, and it touches different platforms. So I can say I just saw a press release that Esri will now be ingesting AddresNC into their world geocoder. That was this month's news in Esri or something like that. Next week, we are working with Google. Google is going to ingest AddresNC monthly, programmatically through NC1 Map. So be on the lookout for that. So that's really exciting. And the NAD at the national level is important as well. It's sustainable. That's probably the most important thing of all, is that we have next gen 911 that's driving this. And so next gen's not going anywhere. And so we know that this is confident. You have confidence in it, reliability. It's going to go a long time. It's dynamic. It changes every month. Every month I download the data and I push it through, replace the old with the new. So it's always live, as well as the geocoding. And then once again, it's spatial. So our goal is to not deliver reports, PDF reports that nobody wants to read. It's all spatial, so you can visualize the things that we found. And it's also regionalized, so we always go to the county where you can omit the rest of the state and just look at what you want to do. And finally, it's analytical. It integrates with parcels, with building footprints, and anything that GIS, what's your problem? GIS can fix it. So use your imagination to figure out what you can do with it. And then finally, like I said, everyone here, I hope, knows about NC1 Map. This is the project webpage. So go to nc1map.gov all the way to the bottom, click on the AddresNC card. You see it right here. Along with all the other solutions that we provide, parcels and ortho imagery, broadband. And you can really get a feel at this webpage for everything you need to know. You can read the schemas, you can understand the coded domains we use. You can see all the QC layers that we provide, all those things. Most important, the geocoding web app. That seems to be one of the most popular things that people are using. And that's it. So, this is like the third phase of my reporting over the last year. If you want to understand all the technical parts to it, and what we do and how we address standards and consistency and all those things, I'll talk all day on this. So give me a call. And I think all these presentations are out there somewhere from last year. So that's it.
Very good, Darrin. Definitely excited, maybe somewhat worried about this, but you were right, definitely talking to me. So I appreciate you presenting on this. Does anyone have any questions? But Darrin, at this time, we've got 4 minutes. If you have questions, none came in online. So if you've got them online, just remember, put them down in the chat.
Hi. Yeah, I had a question. You had mentioned the missing sub addresses in some counties, and like I noticed looking at the map, Wake County stood out. It's just not having sub addresses, and
That's a great question.
so I'm wondering what you think this.
Right. So update on Wake County. So I understand that very soon GeoCom will be releasing a new hub portal. So the providers can funnel their information into that. And on the back end, it's all about field mapping. So from what I understand, there was 3 different choices for units, and it was going to the wrong field map. But I'm happy to say that that map that you saw is a little dated, but last month we just pulled in 160,000 more units for Wake County. So just in one shot, so if you look at that pie chart, Wake will have occupied much of it and change.
Any other questions?
Not mine. Mine must be lower level than yours. Mine only costs $50, so I just,
All right, no more questions? All right, let's give him a round of applause.
thanks.